All right, in this challenge, this is what we're trying to create. I'm on the Quest 1 with the link cable and just my right hand hooked up here. As soon as I grab it, the motor gently opens it up and there's some text. It does have some energy and the motor keeps working and it wants to bounce around after you drop it, but that wasn't part of the requirements. So what we're looking at here, this notebook, is just one of the prefab notebooks, except of course I made it grabbable, same way we made other objects grabbable. The rigid body I also set to continuous dynamic, and there's an attach point for when I hold the notebook is roughly right there. And then this cover text is just a empty game object with Text Mesh Pro on there that's just kind of hiding the text in between there. And finally, what makes the notebook open is on the parent object I created a new script, and in that we just assigned the game object the cover, the hinge joint itself that it's pivoting on, and then there's this function I created that when I call it, in other words when I pick it up, it should use motor, should turn on. That should be true. And I did a little debug log. It took me a while to figure this out, how to access that that motor, but we got it. So in there, I just assigned notebook cover as the cover. The hinge, I actually just used the target for that. So anyways, let's get started on our own. So first thing we're going to do is inside of prefabs, objects, notebooks. There's my brown notebook. I broke all the materials. I don't know how, so I have to reassign them. And anyways, we definitely want to get this kind of rotated correctly, which looks like it's going to be about a -270. And move it kind of down here, closer. Looks like it's partially through the table. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to move this inside of the dynamic section because that's where it goes, because it's dynamic. And now inside of this, you'll see we have the cover, which we could turn on and off, and we're just going to hide the text underneath there. But this cover is going to need a hinge joint, and we'll mess with the rest of that in a little bit. That by script is how we're going to actually turn on this use motor, which is going to make it want to force itself open. I also want to put the text inside of here, and to do that, literally all I did was just open the prefab, and then I created an empty. We'll call this my text. There we go. And I just added the Text Mesh Pro text. And so, hello world. Yeah, we're a little spinny around, so give me a second. I'm going to spin this around without wasting your time. Okay, so all I did was the rotation here was a -180, and this rotation was a 90, and then I changed the color to something I can see on that white background. And then you basically pull it through and then bring it just enough through so that it's there. Let's turn the cover back on, and sure enough it covers, which is great. So when you open it, you'll be able to see it. So we can leave the prefab now because we have our text inside of there. The notebook itself is not grabbable yet, so if I just type in grab, there's the XR grab interactable. The rigid body here, let's make sure that is continuous dynamic so it doesn't fall through the floor. And now for the fun part, the hinge joint, which is on the cover, of course. This hinge joint, if I click on this edit angular limits, you can see it's going to spin this way, like flopping towards you, not on the actual spirals there. So we need to change the axis a little bit. And if I remember correctly from my other one, it's a 0, 0, -1. So let me go to my cover, make that a 0. And you can see this kind of changing as you fiddle around with stuff. Whoa, that's not right. -1. Very good. And then this anchor, I'm going to move, yeah, maybe a little bit that way. But I'm going to put it right there in the middle. I don't think it needs to be, but that's where I usually put it. And now, if I go down here to the limits, this is always kind of a fiddling thing too, but on my other one, I did this -1 to 230-ish. So let's see what that looks like. -1 to 230, and make sure you hit use limits, otherwise it will ignore all of that. So these are kind of confusing to me, but as far as what that actually is going to do when you pick it up. So let's see where we're at so far. Do a little test. Got my Quest on my forehead here. And whoa, something is not right here. Alright, well, we messed up something. I made a simple mistake. Under the notebook cover here, you have to tell it what it's pivoting on. So it's just this parent object. You just drag that in there. And now when I test it, it's a lot better, but there's still some issues. If I pick it up, you can see the text already, which I don't know why it changes, but when I grab it, I'm facing forwards and everything is backwards in my hand. I do like the angular limits to that as I tilt that around. So we need to spin this around, and we're going to have to adjust the depth of the cover. And I actually like to do this during play mode. And then it will erase your values, but at least you'll know it works. So this hello world here, that's my stripes one, wrong one. Let's get this one back up here, which that's not going to matter anyways. The cover, what if we did a slight raising of the cover? Well, it really doesn't want to because, yeah, I see. Let's raise that slightly up. Also, I needed a new attach point is what I need. Let's create an empty. I'll just call this attach point. And I want this blue arrow facing the other way. So, is it this one? Nope. I always mess this up. Not that one either, dude. 180. There we go. And now, this grabbable script needs to know that my attach transform is this that I spun around. Alright, let's check and see how our cover is doing, if it hides the text, and if we can pick it up and it actually doesn't face the wrong way. Good, the text looks good. And we're holding it right. Yay! So, everything's great. Almost. We're getting close, though. So the last part is, it should open up only when you pick it up. So if we, again, look at the stripes, the script is actually on here, this open book script. And so I want to put that on the parent and then just assign these other pieces. So my notebook brown here, I'm going to collapse a whole bunch of things because I have way too many things open. Open, there's my script. Put that on there. The cover is this thing, the hinge joint. I'm going to guess this one. I think it's that one. We'll find out. And then when we pick it up, there's going to be an event. So in the grabbable, remember these events? When you pick it up, it is select entered. So I'll say I want something to happen. There is a script on this object. The script is called this. The function is called Open Sesame. Very creative. And again, this is the script here. That's that public function so we can access it. And then we just assigned everything manually up here. Except for this, it got the object get component hinge joint, which screwed me up earlier quite a bit. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't getting the hinge joint. So now when we pick it up, it should run that function. Let's see if it works. Text looks good. Pick it up and nothing happened. Alright, once again, we have messed up something. Pause. I think I finally found it. It did turn on the motor with the script. However, these are set to 0. So I think on the other one I'd use like target velocity of this and use this much force to get there. Let's try that again. There's the book. Hey, it opens and there's my text. Isn't that wonderful when things work? I hope yours works. Good luck.